Hello and a very good morning. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. This is the Breakfast News with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Prime Minister says BJP emerging as a third force in Kerala. On day 2 of his visit to the state, Modi will inaugurate Combined Commanders Conference being held for the first time outside Delhi. Meeting to iron out difference over GST inconclusive. Government to meet Congress leaders once more as repeated disruptions in Rajya Sabha continue in penultimate week of the winter session. 10th WTO Ministerial Conference gets underway in Nairobi, India to make strong pitch for finding permanent solution to food security issue as leaders aim to strike a deal to liberalize global trade. Hurriyat hardliners meet Pakistan High Commissioner Abdul Basit in Delhi, ask Islamabad for consistency in its Kashmir policy. India's envoy to Pakistan says POK will be discussed during Foreign Secretary level talks next month. And a ceasefire to halt 9 months of war in Yemen to begin today, coinciding with start of UN-backed peace talks in Switzerland. Well, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has expressed a worry that the winter session of Parliament is also headed for a washout. Writing in a Facebook post, Jaitley said that the reasons for a washout are changing by the hour. He reminded the Congress and of the legacy of Jawaharlal Nehru, who said that those who sit in Parliament have the responsibility to govern the country. Jaitley's comments came after a meeting with the Congress over the ambitious GST bill, which ended inconclusively. There are just 7 working days left of the current winter session. Well, the deadlock on the GST bill continues despite Finance Minister Arun Jaitley holding talks with Congress leaders to sort out differences. With only 7 days left for the winter session to conclude, Jaitley and Parliamentary Affairs Minister M. Venkaiah Naidu hosted a lunch for Leader of the Opposition in the Rajya Sabha, Ghulam Nabi Azad, Deputy Leader Anand Sharma and Chief Whip in the Lok Sabha, Jyotiraditya Scindia, to discuss the issue of GST and functioning of Parliament. At the meet, the Congress made it clear to the government that the engagement between them cannot be restricted to just one bill and that other important legislations were also pending. Citing absence of Leader of the Congress in the Lok Sabha, Mallikarjuna Kharge, the party sought another meeting which was readily accepted by the government, which is keen to break the logjam on this key economic reform.
There should not be this over-obsession only with the passage of one bill called the GST. India is, and Parliament functioning is more about the passage of one bill. Please look at the number of important legislation which is pending in the Rajya Sabha or in the Lok Sabha. They all are important.
Rajya Sabha proceedings were paralysed as Congress and BSP members protested against the Shiromani Akali Dal BJP government in Punjab over alleged atrocities against Dalit youth in the state. Both parties pressed for immediate dismissal of the Punjab government. The government, however, sought to downplay the allegations and maintained that the state issues cannot be discussed in Parliament. The uproar led to a series of adjournments. Here's more.
Rajya Sabha on Monday saw the Congress and the BSP upping the ante against the BJP and its alliance partner in Punjab, Akali Dal, over the alleged anti-Dalit activities in the state. Leader of Opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad demanded the dismissal of the Punjab government. BSP leader Mayawati also launched a sharp attack on the Punjab government and demanded the centre's intervention.
पंजाब में जो कोalition गवर्नमेंट है अकाली दल की और बीजेपी, ये आतंकवाद से भी बदतर है, ड्रग माफिया की सरकार है, ये शराब माफिया की सरकार है, कोई लॉ एंड ऑर्डर पंजाब में नहीं है।
मामला अति गंभीर है, इस मामले को सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को गंभीरता से लेना चाहिए, वहाँ की सरकार को बर्खास्त करना चाहिए।
Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi condemned all incidents of atrocities against Dalits. He also urged the state government to take stern action against the culprits.
इस तरह की दरिंदगी को किसी भी रूप में जस्टिफाई नहीं ठहराया जा सकता। जो भी गुनाहगार हैं उनके खिलाफ कड़े से कड़ी कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए। ये हम राज्य सरकार से भी अपील करेंगे और कोई भी गुनाहगार इसमें बचना नहीं चाहिए।
But unrelenting Congress and BSP members marched into the well of the House as proceedings were disrupted. The protests evoked a sharp response from the Deputy Chairman.
I am requesting the slogan shouting members to go back their seat. Your action is undemocratic.
Repeated pleas by Chairman Mohammad Hamid Ansari to allow question hour to function also went unheeded. The House witnessed several adjournments through the day.
Please go back to your places. You have no locus standing in the well, none whatsoever.
The incident referred to by the opposition happened on Saturday in Abohar in Punjab. Limbs of two men were chopped off at a farmhouse allegedly owned by an Akali Dal leader. An FIR has been filed against 11 people, including the Akali Dal leader Shivlal Doda and his nephew. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj on Monday gave a statement in the Lok Sabha on her visit to Pakistan. She informed the House that issues of mutual importance were discussed and India also put forward its concerns. But the opposition questioned the minister over what had changed in Pakistan's stance. That bilateral dialogue was resumed.
In a statement on her Pakistan visit in Lok Sabha, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj informed the House that she had asked authorities there to speed up the legal proceedings in the 2611 case. In her meeting with Pak PM Nawaz Sharif, Sushma Swaraj condemned terrorism and the two sides agreed to work together to eliminate the menace. The minister also expressed hope that the next round of talks would help bring peace and development to the region.
साथ ही हमारी सरकार पाकिस्तान सहित अपने सभी पड़ोसी देशों के साथ शांतिपूर्ण एवं सहयोगात्मक संबंधों के प्रति वचनबद्ध है ताकि दक्षिण एशिया में शांति और विकास के लिए जो प्रयास इस सरकार ने अपना कार्यभार संभालने के समय शुरू किए थे उन्हें आगे बढ़ाया जा सके। पाकिस्तान के साथ इस नवीन वार्ता के दो उद्देश्य हैं। पहला, चिंता के विषयों पर रचनात्मक बातचीत के जरिए समस्याओं का निराकरण करना और साथ ही सहयोगात्मक संबंधों को स्थापित करना तथा इस दिशा में नए मार्ग तलाशना।
Leaders of the opposition wanted to know what change in Pakistan's outlook had prompted the government to resume dialogue.
What has happened in this? Have the border infiltrations reduced? Pakistani intelligence activities reduced or the firing on the border reduced, so that suddenly from September to December we have a flip-flop.
हम इतने तेज रफ्तार से 15 दिन के अंदर 10 दिन के अंदर ये जो चाय हुआ ये ठीक है कि बैक इसमें चलता रहता है वो काम करना पड़ता है लेकिन आप जनता को साथ में नहीं ले।
And after the Paris summit that we have become so confident that yes, things can progress. Perpetrators of crime who have done grievous, heinous crime in this country, who were exported from Pakistan, who repeatedly shed blood on our borders. Okay. Has anything concrete has happened after that meeting that occurred in Bangkok? We would like to understand.
क्या सुषमा जी ने जो जम्मू कश्मीर में वाजपेयी जी के टाइम में एक स्पेड वर्क हुआ था मुजफ्फराबाद रोड खुलने का, उसके बाद यूपीए सरकार में खुला, उसमें भी आइटम्स पे रिस्ट्रिक्शन है। दूसरा, कम्युनिकेशन कोई नहीं पाकिस्तान से, जितने आप फोन करना चाहो कश्मीर कर सकते हो, यहाँ से फोन नहीं कर सकते, बैंकिंग फैसिलिटी नहीं है, उसको हम आगे नहीं बढ़ा सके। तो मेरा ये है कि क्या इस बारे में कोई बात हुई या होने वाली है?
Sushma Swaraj assured the House that India's security was the government's topmost priority. Sushma had visited Pakistan last week for the Heart of Asia conference. She also had meetings with her Pak counterpart Sartaj Aziz and Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. Pranav Goswami's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, India will be discussing the issue of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir with Pakistan when its foreign secretaries meet for talks next month. Indian High Commissioner to Pakistan, TCA Raghavan, hinted at this while giving a lecture in Islamabad. Raghavan's remarks came just days after External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj's, during which she called on Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and met Pakistan Prime Minister's advisor on Foreign Affairs, Sartaj Aziz. Meanwhile, in India, two hardliner Hurriyat conference leaders met Pakistan High Commissioner Abdul Basit in Delhi to discuss the recent resumption of dialogue. The team told the Pakistan envoy that Islamabad should maintain consistency and firmness over its Kashmir policy. Hurriyat's meeting has come in for criticism from various political parties.
Who is Hurriyat? Hurriyat is not an organization recognized by Election Commission of India. Hurriyat has no political recognition. Hurriyat has no representation in the legislature in Jammu and Kashmir either. Hurriyat is no political, it is only an organization of hawks spreading fire, hatred and disdain in Jammu and Kashmir to create wrath and riots.
Once again, it's a desperate efforts by the failed and frustrated Hurriyat conference. This is highly objectionable because whenever there should be talks, there will be talks between India and Pakistan.
I don't know what are the intention of the Pakistani authorities, whether they are serious about the discussions and deliberations with the Indian counterpart, or they want to derail the entire process of deliberation and discussion and normalization of relationship.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that the BJP has emerged as a third force in Kerala and it has given the people of the state a choice apart from the UDF and the LDF. On a two-day visit to the state, Modi will be inaugurating the Tri-Services Conference and will also unveil the statue of former Chief Minister R. Shankar, an event that is already mired in controversy. Yes, Mo.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed a public rally at the Tekkinkadu ground in Thrissur on Monday. This was Modi's maiden visit to the state after becoming Prime Minister.
जनता ने भी अब अपना मन बना लिया है. पिछले महीने चुनाव हुए और केरल की जनता ने आप पर जो आशीर्वाद बरसाए हैं, वो ये बताते हैं कि अब जनता ने आपकी तपस्या को आशीर्वाद दे दिया है. जनता जनार्दन ने हृदय से आपको स्वीकार कर लिया है.
Today, the Prime Minister will inaugurate the Combined Commanders Conference in Kochi and receive a Tri-Services Guard of Honour at the INS Garuda. But it is his programme following this in Kollam that has kicked up a storm. The unveiling of a statue of former Kerala Chief Minister R. Shankar at a function organised by the Sri Narayana Dharma Paripalana Yogam, an association of the backward Iriva community. Chief Minister Oommen Chandy has not been invited for the event. The Congress has termed it an insult. It even got backing from its rival, the CPIM. The issue echoed in the Lok Sabha on Monday.
Prime Minister of this country has insulted the people of Kerala. He has stopped our Chief Minister from going to a function. The Chief Minister of Kerala represents the people of Kerala. The Chief Minister of Kerala is the voice of the people of Kerala. And the Prime Minister has insulted that voice.
PMO had sent the final program. Here, dash plan, no place for the Chief Minister of Kerala, madam. No place for the Chief Minister of Kerala. Then it is very clear that who is behind it.
This has become a cause of great concern and agitation in the state of Kerala because naturally the Chief Minister is seen as symbolizing the entire state. He is not a representative of a political party. He is a statewide figure and it's an insult to the entire state.
No, it is a very unfortunate. It is a total violation of protocol.
The government, however, dismissed the charge.
It is a case of insult to the people of Kerala. यह बात वेणुगोपाल जी ने कही है और मैं कहना चाहता हूं कि यह आरोप पूरी तरह से बेबुनियाद है. यह आरोप पूरी तरह से निराधार है. वह ऑर्गेनाइजेशन किसको आमंत्रित करता है, किसको नहीं आमंत्रित करता है, यह पूरी तरह से फैसला लेने का अधिकार यदि किसी का है तो उस सोशल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एसएनडीपी का है. उससे प्रधानमंत्री जी का अथवा किसी का कोई लेना देना नहीं है.
Modi is likely to meet Chief Minister Oommen Chandy and his cabinet colleagues at the Thiruvananthapuram airport before leaving for Delhi later today. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Moving on, now the 10th WTO Ministerial Conference gets underway in Nairobi today. Trade ministers from as many as 162 countries will meet in the Kenyan capital for negotiations aimed at a deal to liberalize global trade. Represented by Commerce Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, India will strongly pitch for finding a permanent solution to the food security issue and a mechanism to protect poor farmers from surge in imports.
A hardening of stance by India ahead of the WTO ministerial meet in Nairobi. Commerce and Industry Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, who is representing India at the conference, has made it clear that public stock holding for food security and the peace clause are two issues that India will not use as bargaining chips for anything in return. India has also ruled out linking the special safeguards mechanism with any other element during the four-day conference. Instead, the Indian delegation has pitched for concerted efforts for a permanent solution to the issue of public stock holding of grains for food security programs. Addressing a group of developing countries ahead of the ministerial, Nirmala Sitharaman said, and I quote, "Consistent with the 2014 General Council decision on the public stock holding for food security purposes, we expect members to engage constructively and make all concerted efforts to arrive at a permanent solution on public stock holding for food security purposes at this ministerial," unquote. Expressing regret over the fact that for decades, only a handful of farm lobbies of some countries have been shaping the discourse at WTO, having bearings on lives of millions of farmers in developing nations, the minister stressed that G33 must be able to collectively send out a message that any outcome in Nairobi must be balanced and cover all elements of the Doha development agenda. Emphasizing on this, she said, and I quote once again, "We cannot continue with the rhetoric of a development agenda without even a reasonable attempt to address issues which are of primary concern to developing economies. The reduction in the massive subsidization of the farm sector in developed countries, which was the clear-cut mandate of DDA, is now not even a subject matter of discussion today, leave aside serious negotiations." Developed nations, however, seek to broaden the mandate of the ministerial by inserting new issues such as investment, competition and e-commerce, and are not keen on pursuing the Doha development agenda. Amid two differing approaches, the Nairobi conference is set to see stormy sessions ahead. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Get live Rajya Sabha session. News, views, reports and analysis you can trust on social media. Subscribe, follow, like Rajya Sabha Television.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha Television. Well, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi was on the offensive on Monday, leading a protest outside Parliament House. He said he was demonstrating against what he called the BJP government's objectionable actions.
Rahul Gandhi on the offensive, airing one grievance after the other outside Parliament. Targeting the government, he claimed that RSS workers stopped him from entering a temple in Barpeta, Assam.
I wanted to visit a temple. And at the temple, the RSS people, they stopped me from entering the temple. This is the way the BJP operates.
Rahul said he visited the temple later in the evening after the RSS workers left the place. Asking the BJP to change its style of functioning, the Congress Vice President referred Punjab, where he claimed innocent people were being butchered.
You're all aware of what has happened in Punjab. Innocent people have been butchered. This is completely out of order, out of line.
Various BJP leaders and allies countered Rahul's claims.
ये गलत बात है। सरकार उनकी है
और उनकी सरकार रहते हुए अगर वो आरोप लगा रहे हैं तो उनकी सरकार क्या कर रही थी वहाँ? उनको विचार करना चाहिए कि उनकी सरकार की क्षमता क्या है वहाँ।
अनंत कहानियों की एक सीरीज प्रारंभ हो गई है। शैलजा जी ने जिस प्रकार पहले कहा, ये शैलजा पार्ट 2 लगता है मुझे। राहुल गांधी जैसे उच्च पद पर बैठे हुए व्यक्ति के द्वारा इस प्रकार हास्यास्पद बयान देना, जो इतनी सुरक्षा में चलते हैं, जहां आसाम में उनकी सरकार हो वहां उनको कोई घुसने नहीं दे, इससे बड़ी मजाक की और क्या बात हो सकती है।
A belligerent Aam Aadmi Party also countered Rahul over his criticism of the demolition drive that allegedly left an infant dead in Delhi. The party pointed out that the drive was carried out by the railways. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, amid the ongoing stir on one rank, one pension, the government appointed a one-man judicial committee on Monday to look into the implementation of the scheme. Justice L. Narasimha Reddy, former Chief Justice of the Patna High Court, will head the one-man committee. Based in New Delhi, the committee will submit its recommendations within 6 months of the date of its constitution. It, however, can give interim reports to the government on matters related to its terms of reference. The terms of reference for the committee shall be to examine and make recommendations on references received from the central government on various issues concerning the scheme announced by the government last month. The ex-servicemen, however, have threatened to intensify their stir if their demands are not met by the centre within 3 weeks. They've even threatened to boycott the Republic Day celebrations. Meanwhile, retired personnel of various paramilitary forces have also declared to sit on protest in support of their demands of getting the one rank, one pension and special pay and pension allowances. The Association of the Paramilitary Veterans has announced a protest march to Parliament on March 2, 2016, an indefinite dharna at Jantar Mantar and picketing of all parliamentary headquarters in various states in support of their demand. Well, let's now take a look at the news and events lined up for today in our segment, The Day Ahead. The 14th Shanghai Cooperation Organization Prime Ministers meeting, which opened on Monday in Zhengzhou in central China's Henan province, will conclude today. The two-day meeting brings together heads of government of the SCO member countries and the observer countries. Participants are expected to discuss SCO cooperation in trade, investment, finance, transportation and culture. Minister of State for External Affairs General V.K. Singh is representing India at the two-day meeting. Escalating its attack on the Congress over the National Herald case, the BJP is set to release a booklet titled Family Greed and National Blackmail that aims to inform its party leaders about the issue. The party will distribute the booklet, which is a compilation of a number of write-ups on the issue among its MPs and leaders across the country to inform them on the issue and give them talking points. Delhi Traffic Police will implement the Supreme Court appointed committee's recommendations from today. Driving licenses of traffic violators in the national capital will be suspended for 3 months according to the new rules. Seizing and suspension of driving licenses even for the first offenders will take place for jumping red light, drunken driving, over speeding, using mobile phone while driving and carrying passengers in goods vehicles. Well, the Aam Aadmi Party will hold a statewide agitation in Punjab today to intensify its campaign against SAD BJP-led government to demand resignation of the State Agriculture Minister Tota Singh for an alleged pesticide scam. Significantly, our statewide protest will coincide with SID and Congress Party's proposed rallies in Patiala and Bathinda, respectively. The European Union is on target to extend economic sanctions against Russia in the coming days, according to several of the bloc's foreign ministers who met on Monday at Brussels for a two-day meet. The decision to roll over the sanctions by 6 months until the end of July 2016 was expected, though there were doubts over the timing of the move. Moving on now, tensions between Russia and Turkey escalated to new high after Kremlin announced that a summit between the presidents of Russia and Turkey, originally scheduled for Tuesday, has been cancelled. The latest barb between the two nations came after a Russian warship fired warning shots at a Turkish vessel in the Aegean Sea on Monday. Here's more.
The meeting's cancellation comes a day after an incident between a Turkish fishing boat and a Russian warship.
again highlighting the unease between the two nations and the potential for confrontation. A Russian warship fired warning shots at a Turkish fishing boat in the Rajya Sea on Monday to avoid collision. Captain of the Turkish boat said he was unaware his vessel was shot at. The Turkish military attaché in Moscow was summoned, while Turkey warned Russia not to push its patience.
Rusya ile şu anda uçağın düşürülmesinden sonra yaşadığımız süreçte her fırsatı tabii Rusya değerlendirmek istiyor. Biz öyle değiliz ama. Bir sorun var, spesifik bir sorun ve bunu Rusya'nın aleyhine her...
The incident comes on the heels of another naval complaint earlier this month. Turkey scolded the Russian ambassador after photos surfaced of what appeared to be a Russian serviceman posing with a rocket launcher in Turkish waters. Relations between the two soured over their differing goals in Syria. They escalated sharply in November when Turkish forces shot down a Russian fighter jet near the Syrian border. Russia retaliated by imposing economic sanctions on Turkey.
Bugüne kadar çok iyi siyasi ilişkilerimizin olduğu ve en önemli ticaret ortağımız olan Rusya'ya itidal çağrısında bulunuyoruz. Ama şunu da söylüyoruz, bizim de sabrımız sınırsız değildir. Bugüne kadar yaptıklarınıza...
With the recent offensive from Moscow, there seems to be less chance of cooler heads prevailing. Both President Erdogan and Putin are seen as strong nationalist autocrats, and with both unwilling to back down or lose face, experts say the crisis is unlikely to see any resolution in hurry. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the United States is set to raise the offensive against the Islamic State, hitting the militant group harder than ever. Days after the U.S. airstrikes killed the finance chief of the militant group, Obama met with his defense secretary and senior generals at the Pentagon to set up the fight. Obama's rare Pentagon trip is part of the White House's increased focus on the Islamic State in the wake of the Paris attacks and the mass shooting in California. Noting that IS had lost 40% of the territory it once controlled in Iraq, Obama said that the terror group had not had a single successful ground operation in either Syria or Iraq since the summer. But he cautioned that the US and its partners faced a tough fight ahead and that the progress needed to be made faster against the group.
ISIL's lost thousands of square miles of territory it once controlled in Syria, and it will lose more. The special forces that I ordered to Syria begun supporting local forces they pushed south, cut off supply lines, and tighten the squeeze on Raqqa. We recognize that progress needs to keep coming faster. No one knows that more than the countless Syrians and Iraqis living every day under ISIL's terror, as well as the families in San Bernardino and Paris and elsewhere who are grieving the loss of their loved ones.
Let's now bring you a roundup of the other international news in our World Wrap. Ahead of a possible third round of talks in New York on Friday to find a political solution to the Syrian crisis, world leaders met in Paris to discuss the first steps to the peace process. The discussions follow last week's meeting in Riyadh between Syrian opposition groups and rebels to negotiate with Damascus. Russia has outrightly rejected the outcome of the Riyadh meeting, saying it had no right to speak on behalf of the entire Syrian opposition. Kerry will now head to Moscow on Tuesday to try to narrow down the differences with Russian leaders over Assad's role in any political transition. A ceasefire between a Saudi-led coalition and Houthi rebels in Yemen will go into effect from today, coinciding with the beginning of UN-brokered peace talks in Geneva. The week-long ceasefire could be extended if the warring sides abide by it. Representatives of the Houthis, Saudi Arabia and its allies will be present at the talks despite skepticism rising due to the killing of senior Saudi commander in Monday's fighting. The migrant crisis has prompted the EU to rethink plans to limit expansion. It revived Turkey's membership bid on Monday and opened accession talks with Serbia to help tackle multiple crises on its borders. EU officials opened the first enlargement chapter with Turkey since 2013 on economic and monetary affairs. But big obstacles still remain, with neither Turkey nor Serbia likely to join the bloc in the near future. At least 43 border patrol officers were killed after a bus in Argentina lost control and tumbled into a ravine. The vehicle was part of a 3-bus convoy carrying officers of Argentina's gendarmerie, which patrols the country's borders. Passengers on the other 2 buses were the first to venture into the ravine to try to save those trapped in the wreckage. That's it on this edition of the Breakfast News. Have a good day.